But when I get some comments saying things like new video blocks and idiot please new video oh my god, it really just shed a light to new creative yet professional ideas. But the only problem is that I keep getting complaints saying that my guides are troll and that there's no way in fucking hell you have a degree in anything, you good for nothing text animating clown. They claim that using my strategies and builds in normal and ranked queues gives them incredibly bad results, and to that I simply say user error. But nonetheless, I tried extremely hard to make this guide have as few trolly elements as possible, but some were unavoidable. Trundle is one of those champions that isn't seeing much play because his kit doesn't really suit the meta right now. But I'm here to say that his kit is just fine, and people have been playing him incorrectly. People need to stop trolling so I can help you start trolling. Thank you for joining me in Trundle, from troll to challenger. I'm Professor Milk. Let's get started. Trundle has a very interesting array of abilities that are often used incorrectly. It may be due to a lack of knowledge or too many high elo streams with gigantic personalities giving you the wrong information, but I digress. Let's go over his abilities so you guys have a good foundation of what this champion can do. Q. Chomp. Trundle eats that ass. As a reference to the Mahatma Gandhi classic, The Art of War, he be looking kinda fruity, but he can still eat that booty. That may be a bit of a rehash, but once again, I digress. It makes your next basic attack chomp down on the target, dealing bonus physical damage, and then steals 50% of the enemy's AD for 10 seconds, making him excellent at dueling AD carries. This should be used to reset your auto attacks, similar to Nasus or Katarina. W. Frozen Domain. Trundle gets the ground nice and frosty, giving him 20% increased healing, bonus move speed, and up to 125 bonus attack speed. E. Pillar of Ice. This spell erects a milk-sized ice dong out of the ground, and if the enemy is hit in the center, they're knocked up into the air, basically giving you an extremely low cooldown Malphite ultimate, with a better AP scaling. Anyone that walks near this dong will be slowed massively. Before we move on, I'd like to discuss some advanced tips and tricks with Trundle's Pillar of Ice. If you're below Master Tier 420 LP, or your mother is currently watching this video with you, please cover your ears and close your eyes. Adults are talking. Okay, when people think of Trundle, they don't think of a high skill cap champion, but that's because they are simply baboons. The first use is to knock people out of spells to help chase them down, or to protect yourself. If you get any good clips of you doing this yourself, be sure to send them my way. The second use is maybe your teammate wants to recall, or buy items or heal. If you feel that they don't need to, politely let them know. The same can be said when your ally tries to teleport. Lastly, the pillar can even be used to cancel your own recall, but I'll let you experiment with that yourself. R. Subjugate. Trundle suckles upon the ever-so-ready life force of the enemy champion, stealing 35% of the target's maximum HP and all of their resistances. King's Tribute, Trundle's passive, heals him for 5 to 10% of his missing HP when an enemy unit dies within 1400 range. This works with wards, mushrooms, ghouls, jack-in-the-sacks, plants, wigglies, AD spiders, AP spiders, and ding-dongs. Now that we all know what Trundle does, let's get to the fun stuff, builds and theory. Let's pull some standard builds from the modern-day mobifier known as ProBuilds.com to get some insight on what's trending right now, and then we'll go over my build. We have the Classic, the Yellow Star, the Mordekaiser, the Role Player, and the Milk build. Before I get into my thoughts, let's get some expert advice from a segment I like to call Wise Words from the Pros. I have two guests that when they started out, soared above other teams, but recently have fallen from Cloud 9 into the middle of the pack. Our first guest played mid, then chose to retire because of wrist injuries. But then when the rest of his team started losing to Free SM, he knew something was wrong and rejoined the team as the jungler because an EU player hopped the ocean and took his job. Please welcome C9 High. At $5 per question, we ask him.
Let's see. Professor Milk, what's up C9 Meteos? I'm glad to see you back on team. I spent many a night calculating the effectiveness of my Trundle build, but I need a professional's opinion. Here's a build. Hydra Bork, CDR Boots, Bloodthirster, Reaver, Spirit Visage.
He responds.
I mean, you do fat fucking damage, but how the hell do you ever get those items on Trundle? What's Reaver anyway? Is that the fucking item that gives you mana back on auto? Reaver. Yeah, see, Reaver is the thing that gives you fucking mana back. That build is ass, bro. You're not tanky at all, you kinda just die. Like, if you only 1v1, I guess it's okay, but I feel like Trundle's kind of an ass champion in the first place, but you can probably farm better if you go Hydra, but you not that strong. Yeah, it's probably not that bad.
First, I'd like to touch on the fact that this clown didn't even know what Essence Reaver was, shredding all of his credibility. He then goes on to call not only my build, but the champion ass, then wraps it up by saying, it's probably not that bad. Christ's sakes, man, for someone who's known as one of the best shot callers in the world, he's pretty indecisive. Our next guess is once again High, but not the player. A man that lights one up more often than someone that takes Ignite on Earth mode. He can roll up a Fatty J whenever he wants, but Graves still can't have a cigar. You probably know him from his role in the Trombonus Brothers as the guy who is constantly touching his C9 balls. Please welcome Meteos. At a not surprising at all $4.20 per question, we ask him.
Professor Milk for 420 said, "Hey C9 Meteos, sorry again about getting fired from Cloud9. My friend told me you jungled, so I want to help with my Trundle build. Hydra, Bork, CDR boost, Bloodthirster, Reaper, Spirit Visage. Can you review it for me?"
He responds,
"Yeah, that's a lot of lifesteal. Sounds fucking sexy. Sounds perfect. I don't think you can upgrade it anymore."
Well, those are two insightful guests. Hopefully you're still watching this video. I'd now like to go over why this build is strong and the ways to use it. First, let's go over the stuff that everyone rages at me for not putting in the video, which will make this video roughly 9 hours long. Masteries. We'll be going 21-9-0, or if you're Diamond 5 or above and unlocked your second tier of Masteries, go 21-21-3 to take advantage of the bonus healing in the defensive tree. Runes. Pretty standard. AD reds and quints, armor yellows, flat or scaling magic resist depending on the game. Skill order. Jungle. You'll max Chomp first, then Pillar for ganking. Top is Chomp first, then Frozen Domain. Support. You'll be maxing Pillar first. And the build order. Note that if you're in the situation to buy an elixir, always go with Elixir of Wrath. It's pretty obvious that we're working with a sustain build here, very similar to the Netflix exclusive Advanced Tactics with Fiddlesticks. But what makes this build so strong? To start off, you have 52% lifesteal from Reaver, BT, Hydra, and Blade of the Rune King, 42% if you're jungling. The heal from your lifesteal, passive, Elixir of Wrath, and Subjugate get amplified by Spirit Visage and Frozen Domain that give 20% increased healing, which leads us into my second point, cooldown reduction. This build, along with 5% CDR from Masteries, gives you a total of 40% CDR. Your Frozen Domain has a base cooldown of 15 seconds, but with 40% CDR, it brings it all the way down to 9. And since it lasts for 8 seconds, there will only be 1 second of time when you don't have a huge attack speed and healing boost. And even though we're working with a sustain build, do not be fooled, because you should still be treated as an assassin. But words are words and numbers are numbers. I devised a plan to prove to you guys that this really works. I'm gonna put this build against 3 of the top sustainers in the game to see how he does. First, we'll start with double lifesteal, Elixir of Wrath, Draven. Not too bad, but Trundle did have an edge because his Q steals so much AD. Let's move on to our next opponent, Vladimir. Stealing AD doesn't really affect him, so let's see how it goes. Easy enough, but can this build stand up against the sustain master himself, known as Fiddlesticks? Let's watch. Now you saw for yourself, folks, not only does this build give good sustain, it puts some of the top dogs out of business. Some final notes on the build are that you can